Welcome, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of Cal's Corner. I just want to welcome you in, and it's so enjoyable to have a longtime friend of mine with us here today, high-profile football coach. But before we start talking to Pat Collins, we need to pay a couple bills here. So first of all, we want to thank Billy Mann of KLLB Media right here in Whitehall, and Billy is making your memories and creations come to life. So if you need some video work done or anything along that line, make sure you get a hold of Billy Mann right here in Whitehall. And also, we want to thank Bill's Golden Cards and Collectibles right here in Whitehall. If you're looking for any type of a baseball card, football, Pokemon, Bill's got them all right here. And if he doesn't, he'll get it for you. So kind of a really neat card shop right here in Whitehall, right here on Colby Road. So I want to thank those two guys for sure. So getting on with the speaker today, I've known you a long time, especially in the sports world, but welcome, Pat Collins.
Thanks, Cal. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really appreciated the first time you reached out to me and just said, how about I take you to lunch?
Okay.
I know that's your MO.
That's my MO, as you can tell.
Which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
And that was really special.
Yeah.
So I appreciated all those years of you doing that and reaching out to me.
Yeah. And that was now a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but it was encouraging. And being with you was encouraging, and your messages to me always helped me a lot of times because you did it a lot and you were consistent. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure to do it. So, Pat, let's jump right into it here. Let's talk about the early years of Pat Collins.
Wow. Our family was actually a Kalamazoo family. We started down that way.
Okay.
And then we didn't get up to Montague till I think I moved when I was 2. But we got up here, and my dad opened up his business, which was a sewing center, Lakeshore Sewing Center.
Mm-hmm.
Still exists today. There's a store in Muskegon that my oldest brother Brian runs, as well as Grand Rapids.
Okay.
But we at one time had store in Muskegon, store in Holland, store in Grand Rapids, Tri-Cities. And at one time, as we grew up, I used to clean the machines in the store in Muskegon when I was young. And I'd use a toothbrush to clean these things.
Okay.
When they got fixed, that's what we would do. And that was the family business. And we grew up in it. And my job was to clean the cases and clean the machines after they got serviced.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they look good for the customer when they pick them up.
Yeah.
And I think probably the second toothbrushing I did back in that day, I realized that I'm not going to be doing this for my profession, that maybe I should go to college.
Okay.
So believe it or not, I think I've been told that I was the first Collins to graduate from a 4-year university.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So that's side of the family. That's what happened. We were blue collar people, and I decided to get into education, and we grew up. We were in Montague that whole time, but we worked the family business. Our whole family were part of it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how we made our living and worked through our time in Montague. And it was great moments.
Yeah. Tell me about your parents.
Well, my mom, the angel, Donna, she's the angel of the family and was always there for us. And my dad, who comes from a really somewhat tough background out of Kalamazoo, and that's why we were down there originally. I remember a story. I went to his sister had passed away, and he had already been gone. But his sister had passed away. My aunt and we had gone to the funeral, and I was just getting a phone that had GPS at that time.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm reading these things about their family, and that we're talking to his cousins, and they knew him well, and one of his cousins was like his best buddy growing up. But I turned to him and I said, "Hey, I got this phone. I think it's interesting. I got my kids with me. I know they're small, but I would love to take my wife and kids by my dad's old house." And they said, he's looking at me strangely. He goes, "Your dad didn't tell you where he grew up?" I go, "A little bit, but I'm the youngest, and I was a mama's boy. So I don't know." And he's like, "Pat, there isn't a house in this city that's still standing that your dad lived in. And not one of them that I can recall had hard floors, all dirt." Yes.
Oh, my. Okay.
So different background. His upbringing was like that. So that's my dad, and he was a man-made guy. Just got up through, went to the service for some years, went to Kalamazoo Central High School, came back to Kalamazoo and started his own business in the sewing business and started selling and servicing sewing machines.
Yeah.
And once he got rolling, that's when we moved to West Michigan and moved up north a little ways.
Mm-hmm.
They found a house in Montague, literally just didn't have a target on Montague, just found a house that fit the family and was near some places like Muskegon where he could open the business. Actually opened one in Fremont originally too.
Okay.
Over by you.
Yeah.
My mom and him met in Kalamazoo area, and they moved together up here and got, we had our family rolling, and they were divorced when I was probably an 8th grader.
Okay.
Separated 7th, 8th grade.
Yep.
My dad was fully in my life, even though he moved away and was with another, got remarried,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom just kind of held the fort down. But they all still worked together. The business still kept going, and it was a unique thing. And I was the youngest, so I would oftentimes just come home and maybe come home to an empty house because people were working.
Yep.
And I had to fend for myself at times because a lot of TV dinners, and my brothers were on the run. So my oldest brother is Brian, and he was in the house, and my middle brother Matt.
Okay.
And that was cool. So good times and challenging at times. That's how life is, and that's how families are. So
Where'd you go to college at?
So when I was pushing the toothbrush on those machines, I decided I wanted to go to college. When I got to high school at Montague, we had some successful years in football and other sports under guys like Ken Diamond, big time mentor of mine, and Jim Tate, my basketball coach. And we were successful, and we had both good basketball seasons and football seasons. And I thought maybe I want to go. These guys have been really special to me. Maybe I want to go on and be like them.
Yeah.
Be a teacher and a coach and things like that. And so honestly, when I looked at schools, it's got to fit my athletic abilities. And I was more of a D3 caliber guy. And I visited Ferris too and Grand Valley. But Hope's educational program at that time was second to none. And I wanted to get into that field, and it fit well. So I chose Hope College. We were just there the other day with my daughter for a visit.
Okay. Yeah.
So my younger daughter, Maisie, she visited actually just yesterday. It was yesterday. Yeah. So we were there yesterday morning for a visit. So it's beautiful school. It's come a long way since I went, but Hope College was the place, and got my degree in education and went on from there.
So then go to college, but then all of a sudden you found, I'm out of college, I need a job. So where did you start out at?
Well, my major was in emotional impairments.
Okay.
Special education. And it was a 79 credit major at Hope College, the highest credit major they offered. Oftentimes I'd ask my friends, hey, what's your major in? They're at Western Central or wherever. And they'd tell me, and then I'd say, how many credit hours in your major? And they might be in the low 40s.
Yeah.
Mine was 79 to get this major. A very intense program, working with students who struggle emotionally, behaviorally and emotionally, and I loved it. I grew up, in my mother's brother, who had a mental impairment, Larry, Uncle Larry, and he was by us our whole life. And Uncle Larry, I had friends that would be scared to death to come over if Larry was there. Larry was the nicest guy, but he was different, and people are scared of different people. But they'd say, Pat, is Larry going to be there? I'm like, yeah, he's going to be there. You'll be fine. Larry's fine. So I tell the joke, Larry, the reason I'm bald is because Larry loved to rub my hair. And he loved hair. So Larry would run around the house, and my friends were so scared. Is he going to feel my hair? I'm like, who cares, man? I mean,
yes.
But when you're not used to that, that's how it goes. But my whole life was with guys like Larry, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to work with special needs kids.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I went into it with more of a focus on the psychology side. Yeah. Because I liked that. Yep. And that led me to the emotional impairments. And I graduated from Hope with that. And my first job was landed at Reese Puffer. Okay. And I was in a self-contained emotional impaired program that was regional. in a regional program, the local programs run an EI program in Muskegon County in their schools.
Okay.
And all those programs that are going on, if they can't handle the student in their own local school, they send them to the regional program.
Yeah.
My destination that I ran was the regional program at Reese Buffer. So I had the dudes of Muskegon County in my classroom. And it was awesome.
I did not know you started at Puffer.
Well, I did. And I coached for Denny Barnes. I coached for Denny Barnes, who still coaches for me today. And he was the head coach at Reese Puffer, and I was an assistant coach. I was doing the special education in my dream of this emotionally impaired program, and it was great. And the only thing that changed is I went on to West Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I go to West Ottawa? Because my wife, who's in physical therapy school, graduated, and she got a job at Holland Hospital. And we were down in Muskegon living in Glenside. Beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
We had our first house there. We loved it there, but it was like, you got the job at Holland. We probably want to be closer to Holland to help your drive. And I probably could get a job anywhere. Well, sure enough, in special education, it's still this way today. I had pick of 5 jobs in the Holland area. Well, I chose one at West Ottawa High School, or West Ottawa Middle School first. And then I moved into the high school, but and then coached football again for West Ottawa as an assistant. Under Jim Caserta.
Okay, so that would have been, was that before Tony Anise was there? Tony was there.
Tony was there earlier. Cheverini was there. Roger Cheverini was there earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Icons there. Tony was a JV coach there.
Okay.
Head JV coach, highly respected head JV coach, obviously. And then Roger was a head coach there for a while.
Okay.
Was a real change for West Ottawa. And Roger came in and did his thing. And I hear stories now that I'm back there all the time.
There, okay, gotcha. Yep. So continue on then at West Ottawa.
So West Ottawa for 4 years under Jim Caserta, who was out of Ohio.
Okay.
Jim's a fabulous mentor of mine too.
Yeah. And
really a great human that I looked up to and learned a ton in those first 4 years with West Ottawa. And, you know, he kind of spurred me, made me feel the confidence to like, it's time maybe to try for a head coaching position. And give him a lot of credit for that. So I did that. I applied at Grant High School. Okay.
Nice.
Does that sound familiar to you?
Oh, wow. Like somebody dropped the ball there.
I applied at Grant High School. I was very interested in that position, even more so than the Montague position. I also applied at Whitehall High School in the same year as Grant High School.
Okay.
Okay. That was the year before I applied at Montague High School.
Okay.
And the Grant and Whitehall positions, I didn't make the cut even to get an interviews at those 2 locations. And I was hoping to get an interview because I usually do okay in those.
Yeah.
And I was like, darn, as long as I can get in a room and tell them what I want to do and my vision for kids and all these things, and just give me a chance.
Right. Absolutely.
And I was pretty aggressive. I would visit the schools and shake hands and tell people hello. And I really would love to have a chance to interview here.
Yeah.
And I still didn't get an interview because I drove to Grant. And I walked in the front door and met people. And it went well, but I didn't get it. I didn't get the interview. Then I did that at Whitehall. I didn't get the interview. But the next year there was some openings around, and I turned to my wife and said, "What do you think about me applying at Montague?"
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, what do you mean?" I go, "Well, it just seems weird, like going back home. Is it kind of strange?" She goes, "Well, why do you want to go back home?" I go, "I kind of want to go finish unfinished business."
Right. Based off of
my senior season.
Senior season.
When we lost in the state championship.
Yes.
I go, "Is that cheesy? This is high school football.
Yeah.
Like, why are we thinking shouldn't be that big of a deal? Why am I still thinking it is? I'm a mature guy, right? And she's like, "No, you're still mature. You still should do it. Why wouldn't you? Go do it." And I'm like, "You sure? You didn't like that town when we drove through it last time. You think I'm gonna live up here?" Then she goes, "Yeah, but then you took me over the bridge and down the shoreline on the drive along the lakeshore."
Yes.
Then I liked it better.
Yes.
So I went for that job and got it. I was there.
That was a good decision on their part.
Yeah, it went well.
Yeah.
It was a great fit. My mentor, Ken Diamond, who still existed in the building, a mentor of mine as a coach and a teacher, became a mentor of mine as an administrator and a former head football coach where I could lean on
Yeah.
in my first years. And I was in my 20s. So I was like, I'm a rookie. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think the first group that I coached would be able to laugh and giggle and say, yeah, he was. Because I was like, I hadn't done this thing before. Yeah. It was hard. And he was there helping me. So it was a great fit. Obviously knew that what Montague's about.
Yeah.
And then had him there with me to guide, and I could ask questions and so forth. So.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little something different. Or I would kind of talk to you about, I want to talk about your family first now, and then we're going to bump back into high school because this is our 6th episode with Billy and I, and this hour goes by so fast.
Yeah, you want to get them in.
You know,
you want my immediate family.
Yeah, your family.
Oh, well, we have Susan, the actual head coach of the family.
Okay.
That's my wife, and she's been awesome holding the fort down for all these years. Yeah. 25 now.
Okay.
Just recently, June 19th, I remembered.
Good man.
So then you have Drew, our oldest son.
Yeah.
And then Allie, and then Maisie, and then Jace. So we have 2 boys and 2 girls, and the girls are in the middle. So we always say the boys can protect them on the front and the back.
There we go. Yes.
So that's the family, and we built a house in Montague when we showed up, kind of to establish this is where we're going to raise our kids.
Yeah.
And we found some property out in Montague by the Old Channel Trail golf course. And my wife was used to a neighborhood, but she was always open-minded. Like, I'll go to I think I will do Montague. This is pretty cool. And then I think I will live out, not in the neighborhood. Yeah. And this looks pretty cool. So we did all that, and then we just raised the kids there, and we loved it every minute of it. It was a very amazing. We are so blessed. Yeah. Like, growing up, I mean, Montague's a great, White Lake area is a great place to raise kids. And,
yeah, it's unbelievable.
And the school system and everything was great. So.
Yeah. Your oldest son, Drew. I wish I had $1 for every time I've said his name.
You covered a lot of Drew, didn't you?
Yes.
I appreciate you guys doing that too. Drew is, let's see. So when we moved here, Drew was 2, Allie was 1. And while our house was being built, we were over here in Whitehall. And we were in a place that was pretty rickety while the house was being built. And he would come with me to football things. And he would never, ever partake in the typical boys' football stuff. And what I mean by that is if there was ball boys, as he grew through the program, he didn't want to be a ball boy. He didn't want to be on the sideline. He wanted to be in a position where he could watch. But when he wasn't on a device. He wasn't playing behind the bleachers.
Yeah.
When the other boys were playing behind the bleachers and the other boys were fighting to be the ball boy, he was sitting by his mom, focused 100% on the football field. And he wanted to watch every detail. And if I'm down there doing a job, how am I going to really watch the game? And if I'm behind the bleachers, I need to see the game. And when most boys his age, for years, when you go through the phase of life, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
But he did. He loved it. And he bled blue because he was a Montague through and through.
Yeah.
And he still bleeds blue. Like he is. So he grew up in it, immersed in it. And, the rest was history, as you know, with his leadership with some of his classmates. Yeah. They did some amazing things for that group of guys. So
yeah.
And they're still very, very close today. And I see those guys all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Great group of dudes.
Yeah. So Allie and Maisie, both those girls athletic.
Oh, so much so. And their mother is too. And probably that's where they all get it. But Allie was very, very artistic and musical, very talented. And did a lot of that growing up in the church, singing in the church and things. And she's so versatile and could do so many different things. And she had some unique talents in athleticism, but it wasn't necessarily her passion, which is great. We were okay with it.
Yeah.
And so she would do things. We had a middle school track meet at Whitehall, and she was like in the second heat or third heat of the 100 or 60 or whatever, 70, I think it is. And she doesn't have track spikes on. She doesn't have anything ready. Doesn't care. And I'm like, I'm dad, and I'm at the meet. I want my daughter to run fast. So I'm down there looking around and I see one of her friends. I go, hey, can Allie wear those for those 70? And they're like, yeah, of course. Spikes. I'm like lacing her spikes on. I'm like, come on, you got to get serious. Like, work on your takeoff. And she goes, what do you mean takeoff? Like, she doesn't care about anything.
Yeah.
She's like, but then I teach her how to take off, and I'm working with her a little bit. She's got her spikes on. I'm like, all right, now just go. Do it. You can do this. Attack. Well, they all line up. The first heat runs. The second heat runs. Allie runs the third heat, and she blows out everybody in the third heat.
Yeah.
I've never seen her run like that. Well, she ended up with the second fastest time at the meet. So I'm like, why aren't you doing that all the time?
Yeah.
That's just not what she liked to do.
Mm-hmm.
We put her in a pool when she was young, at a pool party, and I had all the girls race for fun, and they were young kids. Her mother's a national champion swimmer.
Yes.
And Allie's like, just la-di-da, like, oh, yeah, let's race. And the other girls are looking. A couple of the girls in her group are looking like, I want to race. Yeah, they're competitive girls. Yeah. Allie's is like, I don't know. That one was within her feet when they touched the other side. And she just gets up. Did I win? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's her. And then Maisie, she's got a little bit more of the old Drew. Mm-hmm. And she's very competitive. We were at Hope College, as I've discussed earlier yesterday. She's still thinking she might want to do college volleyball. Mm-hmm. And so Maisie's been for years involved in all sports. She's done softball, volleyball, basketball. She's been very much involved in that. And she's going to be a senior this year. So she's awesome.
Yep.
And then Big Jace.
Yes.
Then Jace came along, and he's the youngin' of the family, the baby, and everybody babies. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't look anything like a baby.
He's a big young man.
Yeah, so he's a big human, I say.
Yeah.
But Jace is coming along, and Jace is the refreshing thing with all your kids being so different is it's so amazing. God's blessed everyone with just unique personalities.
Yes.
And then they all love different things. Jace really fell in love with hunting and fishing.
Okay.
Which I, as a dad, selfishly, I liked it because it was kind of a break from the rigor of all the sports we've done that I do all the time. Yeah. And you come home and it's on the TV and you go to the kids' stuff and that's all you ever do. And then when you can get breakaway and do a little hunting and fishing, got to get you out, get you away from it. And he's been into that. So that's been fun with him.
Mm-hmm. But, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to bounce back here to Montague, coaching, football.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of success here in your, I think, 17 years at Montague before you went to West Ottawa?
For sure,
yeah. 17 years. I wrote it down, and ahead of it, I always do notes for these, and I start with a bigger legal pad, then I put them on a smaller legal pad, so I have it can sit on my knee, on my leg.
Yeah.
And I didn't transfer those. So I know your record is something like 154, I think, in 39. 16 of the 17 years you qualified for the playoffs.
Yeah.
6.
I do know that one.
Okay.
Because I know there was one year we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the stats.
And I remember that.
I do not know the stats.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
So, 16 of 17 years in the playoffs, 6 conference titles in a very difficult conference, the West Michigan Conference.
They were. We had some battles.
That you did?
I respected programs.
Yeah. Yep.
We called the Big Blues for many years, and other teams emerged. Mm-hmm. There were teams that emerged outside of the Big Blues, but Ravenna, Oak Ridge, and Montague. Mm-hmm. The 3 Big Blues.
Yeah.
Call it. And we had some battles.
Mm-hmm. I remember the one year you did not win your conference, but you won a state title.
That's correct.
Yeah, Oak Ridge. And then Oak Ridge won the state title the same year.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yep.
Wild.
I remember all of those games.
Well, Ravenna lost in the semi of the Big Blues.
Yes, they did.
To Traverse City St. Francis.
Yes.
So it would have been 3 teams of our league in the finals because we're all in 3 different divisions.
Correct. Yes.
And it was wow.
Yeah. Yep. What led to your success? What made you successful at Montague? And I know it's let's just go with that. What made you successful?
Well, I do believe that I always think of a million little moments.
Okay.
And we all have them every day, right?
Yeah.
And so those million little moments just add up. And you have every person that touches the program. And I believe wholeheartedly that you've touched the program. And you've had moments in our millions.
Okay.
For Montague.
Yeah.
Because without you taking me to lunch, encouraging me, that impacted our kids. And without you announcing the games with Cal or with John, that impacted our games, because that our kids hear that and parents hear it, and it builds community, it builds excitement. Yes. Like all the little things that multiply to help these kids achieve these things. I always think it's all of that is impacted our success. Everything, every little thing. Everybody will say, well, you got to take credit for this, coach. And I do. I work hard too, but I'm a piece. There's so many pieces. Yeah. The parents, the community following, the people, the fact, if someone holds me accountable and they say, that's not good enough, coach, I like that. That's a piece.
Yeah.
They care about us. Yep. They want us to do well.
Yeah.
A kid's at Wesco at 3:00. He's supposed to be in the weight room, and a community member goes, hey, shouldn't you have weights today? That's huge. Mm-hmm. The kid's like, oh, shoot, you got me.
Yeah, busted.
Yeah. Yeah, I should be at weights right now. And he might walk back and be there at 3:15. And you're like, oh, you're late. Well, yeah, coach. So, like, because it's everybody.
Yeah.
The wives of the coaches, the school system, the administrators, the student section, the students going to the games and cheering the team on. Yeah. It's just so big. What led to our success is people buying in together in a belief and going for it, and everybody jumping on.
Yeah.
And the other big one for me is probably when kids that are actually putting the pads on that have the biggest impact decide to lead. Okay. They decide to lead. And they lead selflessly, and they lead for the sake of the team. They don't even think about themselves. Mm-hmm. And when they do that, and they're just leading for this common goal, and the chemistry is just amazing because of it, and people feel it. You could feel it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're like, we're going to be good.
Yeah.
And the kids lead that. The kids will drive that feeling every time. You never leave a practice, or you never leave a summer workout whether you're feeling bad or good, it's all driven by those kids and what they're bringing to the table. So you're constantly trying to develop that, because you're ultimately in charge of developing that. You don't say, you guys got to take care of it. We're not doing anything. You're constantly trying to develop that chemistry, that leadership, that selfless attitude, the toughness, the resiliency, and all these things that we're working on all the time with these kids.
Yeah.
You're constantly trying to build those things, but some teams take it better, do better with it than others. Mm-hmm. But we've had teams that aren't as talented physically do way better. Why is that? Because they're selfless. Yeah. And they care about each other, and they love each other. And they work for each other. So I think those are what led to some of the most success we've had at Montague, because I really think that that's just how our teams have been.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I've been very fortunate as a coach to be just in that moment, in that time. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I feel that way. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I kind of showed up they were doing really good. Like Ken Diamond had it rolling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to be one of the head coach guy. And then I got all these guys that love it. Like they want to do this. Mm-hmm. And then everybody helped, assistant coaches, and everybody we're all bought in, and it just makes a big difference.
Follow the leader, though.
I know everybody wants to talk about me with this stuff. I think it's because I believe that way. Mm-hmm. And I do care. I always talk to the kids about being significant. And I want to be significant. I don't want to, success word, the other S word to me is like, isn't success significance? Like in the lives of others? Yeah. Look at you. I think of you being very significant in the life of others. Yeah. And so I think that's the ticket, because success is to me, a little bit more. We always say, hopefully, you have a successful time. We use that a lot.
Yeah.
To me, I like to think more about go out there and be significant in the lives of others.
I like
Like,
that.
because significance is like it just seems more. There's more impact. Success is like it seems a little bit more self-ish. A little bit.
Mhm.
It can be. But significance is a different way to flip that, because you can go out and be a custodian.
Yeah.
And we've all read the book. What's the title of the book of the custodian that was so significant in the lives of?
Yeah.
Have you read that?
I haven't, but
I've read that book. It's amazing. But that custodian that's significant in the lives of others, just doing a good job cleaning the school. That's great. What it has nothing to do with your job. They might he's been successful in his life. Well, people talk about it all the time about money and things like no, but he's been significant in the lives of others.
Yep. And sometimes you read a special needs kids that end up being part of a program.
Yes.
That for 30 or 40 years, that
Right.
display a massive amount of success into the program.
100%.
Yeah.
It's just so important. But I try to stay there. But we're all competitive, but you got to know the way to get it. We're at the last piece. I'll share my third one. If it is 3, it might be 10.
Yeah.
But my third one is really truly just being tough and teaching tough principles to be a tough football player.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you and I are hitting each other on the field, it's man versus man. At the end of the day, it's a mental toughness battle. It's a physical toughness battle. Either I'm in better shape than you, or you're in better shape than me.
Yeah.
And then who will give up first, and who's going to be tough in those moments? Because we're out there playing football. It's a very tough sport.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the teams, no matter what with all the success we did have down the road in football, we were tough. Like our kids are tough.
Yeah.
And you watch these spread teams, then you watch the wing T teams, and you watch the I teams and the single wing teams, and you got all these different defenses and offenses and all these things, but every one of them win titles, and they win a lot. They do all kinds of different things, but all of them are tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had to be tough to compete in this conference at
Always.
a high level.
Always.
Yeah. You had to have that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be it.
Yeah.
That's why we were successful.
Okay, I have 2 questions. I'll throw this one first, and I'm going to come back with the other one. So the first one's going to be biggest win. The second one's going to be toughest loss. But let's start with the biggest win.
The toughest loss, the first one jumped in my head very quickly, but you might know that one. But the biggest win.
Biggest win.
Biggest win.
And I know there's 154 of them out there probably to pick from.
There's so many. I have one in my head. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. And I don't think I'm going to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just like, it's the emotion of, we lost Randy Jacobs. I don't know if you remember that. Randy Jacobs was an icon for Montague. And our practice field's named after him.
Okay.
We have a big sign that we put up after he had passed away. But when Randy, he had surgery, he had a blood clot, and he passed away. It was right before our season started in 2006.
Okay.
And I had only been there a few years, but we were starting to get better and the program's going. And we lost in the semis the year before in 05. We lost in the regional final my first year in 04. So then we were in 06, and Randy, we put the sign up. It was very emotional. The whole team went to the funeral. Well, we had a rough start. We were not really thinking about football well when things like that happen in your life. And we were going through the games. I think we were 1-4. And we won 3 straight. Things started to turn around for us. And these were tight games. We were scrapping for everything we could get. And we got to the last game of the season against Muskegon Heights, who were a very talented football team. And we were down at halftime, and we had some emotional speech by a player at halftime. A couple players spoke. They stood and spoke, and a lot of them talked about doing things for Randy. And the kids just were different.
Mm-hmm.
They came out of that tunnel or the walk past the it was at home, and we didn't know we were so focused on just trying to win that game. We didn't know if we were going to make the playoffs or not. And we went out on the field in the second half and came storming back, and we tied that game and went into overtime. And they scored first. They kicked the PAT. We blocked it. We jumped off sides. Dan Panetta jumped off sides. The ball moved up to the 1.5. They elected to kick again, not go for the run, for the 2. Dan Panetta ran off the same edge and blocked it again. Well, then we scored in overtime on the last play from the 10. And then we kicked the PAT and it went through by like 2 inches, Riley Hughes. And it was that comeback and then the overtime. And I'm going to say that was our biggest win.
Gotcha.
Because it was so emotional. We were playing for Randy. And Tim Baker from Constantine, our nemesis, was in the crowd. He was celebrating with us on the field because he loved the game so much. And I looked and I said, "What are you doing? You're scouting us?" And he goes, "Of course I'm scouting you guys." And I go, "Well, what's it matter?" He goes, "I just saw a wonderful game." He goes, "Hey, congratulations on the playoffs." And he must have crunched all the numbers, this guy. He was into this stuff. I had no idea. I go, "How do you know we made it?" He goes, "I know you made it. That right when you just made that field goal, the extra point, you just got in." And I'm like, "No way." He goes, "Yeah, you're in." So then I told the team, I trusted him. I told the team without waiting for the points to come out. And he was right. We did. We slid in. Then we went over to the semis and it was 6, playing for Randy all the way through the playoffs. We lost to Inkster.
Oh, Inkster. Wow. They were dominant then.
Well, I tell this story all the time. I hope it's true. But I was told when they had to, the schools had to break up. I lost in high school my senior year to Detroit DePorres.
Yeah.
Now, DePorres shut down the year before. And a lot of those kids from DePorres went to Inkster. Mm-hmm. Well, Inkster High School was 400 kids strong in their high school, and that's why they were D6. But when you get transfers over a summer because of a school shutdown, they take the numbers from the previous February, which was Division 6. But if you have kids who get kicked out because of school shutdown, they're immediately eligible. Well, with the great group of dudes that came in from DePorres over to Inkster, they had 707 kids in that high school. That year we lost them in the semis. And they were all eligible to play football. Yeah. But anyways, it was a great run. We ran into that brick wall with Inkster in the semi, but it was because of Randy, and it led on that one victory against Heights.
Riley Hughes was one of my all-time favorite football players at Montague.
Yes.
Wow.
He's awesome. He was awesome. He tore up Inkster in that game too, and they loved it. We just could. They outscored us 54 to some 39 or.
Yeah.
Anyways, worst. So worst.
Yeah.
Semifinals 2019.
Okay.
We're up a lot. Two scores. We're milking the clock. They do stop us, and then they drove. They drove the field to tie. They drove the field, scored. They got the ball back. Glen Lake. Glen Lake. So this is the semis of 19.
Was that at Clare?
At Clare.
Yeah. Yeah, we were there.
We had the game won.
I was trying to, yeah. Yep.
They're driving down, and we're like, we just have to keep them in front of us. It's 4th down, and that ball bounces off that turf from a yard, half a yard from that player. Like everybody saw it. It just skipped out the turf into the guy's chest, and he's holding the ball, and they go, first down. Well, oh no. And the wheels were just coming off. Our guys were so frustrated by that. We were trying to calm them down, and then that kid caught that pass in the corner and went to overtime. Mm-hmm. We thought we were going to another championship.
Yeah. Until
it just fell apart.
Yeah.
And you learn things in your career because, our kids were, their locker room was not. Kids get over losses quick. We've been riding home from semifinal games in the past on a loss, and the laughter and the conversation is kicking up by 30 minutes into the ride, which is great. Coaches, we never get over that stuff.
Yeah.
But the kids do. But that day, You could have heard a pin drop from Clare, Michigan, all the way back to Montague.
But there was a lot of juniors on that team, correct?
They did.
And
And my son Drew decided on day one of practice. He asked me. He didn't ask what if he could do anything. He said, "Hey, do you have that picture where we're all draped over the field in a ball? Everybody's laying down like they got shot, and we're all crying after that semifinal loss." I go, "Yeah, I got it somewhere." Why? He goes, "I just need it." So I gave it to him, a photo, and I walked out to for day one practice, and that was posted up on the tree right by the Randy Jacobs sign that we have there.
Yep.
And the kids walked by, and he brought the team over, and he pointed at that picture and had a little talk. And he said, "That's not happening."
Yeah.
And then it did. That's what I went back to. One of my reasons when you win, you got those kids that are just leaders.
Yeah.
And they take a hold of it. That's when you win.
Gotcha. I thought that might be one of the stories because I've been with you and your team in the community through some of the biggest wins and some of the toughest losses.
I know. You have been.
Yeah. Didn't you lose to Alma? No, you were at Alma, I think.
We lost We lost it in the semifinal in 7.
Okay.
So we lost 3 straight semis.
Right. Yep. Was one at Alma?
Yeah, we had the Hoosier talk in our locker room after we lost to 3 straight private schools in the semis. Everybody's, and I'm a rarity, and I hope I don't upset anybody on the podcast. I'm a rarity. I don't make any. There's no excuses.
Okay.
They're kids. We're kids. I will never do the private school.
Yeah.
So we were sitting in a room, and we were all the coaches were kind of like, "This is ridiculous. This is the same old thing. It's just going to be the same old thing. We're going to keep losing these private schools." And I was, where the Hoosiers, where they measure the baskets, and that's when I gave the big talk in there after 3 straight semi losses to the coaches about, no, these kids are 17, 16, whatever they are. We're all humans. Like we can beat these teams. Period. We're not doing this.
Wide and 100
well, then I walked out of that meeting, and I was halfway across the gym, and even I was down.
Yeah.
But I got to be strong.
Yeah.
But I walked out of the meeting. I'm walking through the gym, and Ken Diamond was walking the other direction. And he goes, "What's going to happen?" I go, "It's frustrating. We had just lost the 3rd straight semi." And he said, "You're going to win it next year." I said, and I picked my head up. I said, "What?" He goes, "It's time. You're going to win it.
Yeah.
It's time." And I go, "Great.
Okay.
I feel good now."
Yeah.
And you're right. And we went to it. We won it in 08. Won it again in 09.
Yeah.
And he just knew that this tidal wave, this dam or whatever it is just going to break.
Yeah.
We're right there. So
if the cards bounce the right way, you have 6 to 7 state championships. I mean, you're right there.
I know. We're so close.
So close to having 6 or 7.
We're so close. I say to people, I think highly of every team we had. Even the down team. We had a down team that didn't make the playoffs. I love all of the teams.
Yeah. But
I would say I thought at one time when we said 17 years, I thought we legitimately had 12 Final Four teams.
Okay.
Like we're legitimate. And when you get to the Final Four, anything can happen.
Yeah.
But we had top 4, 12 of the 17 years at Montague. Then we had a couple injuries here and there, maybe like a Cam Brayman in 15. An unbelievable football player.
Yeah.
So he gets hurt in game 9. We did get to the district final. We lost in the district final. But we were with Cam Brayman, we're a Final Four football team.
Yes.
No question.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose the district final.
Yep. And he lost, and probably you're looking back going, why did I even play him? Because it was an insignificant game.
It was. It was in the first quarter. He was doing his thing, which is he's awesome and a machine.
Yeah.
And he just broke his hand in half.
Yeah.
Really bad. And anyways, I think we've talked about legitimate 12 of the 17 were Final Four caliber football teams. And the other teams were always in the top 10.
Yeah. Yep. And that team lost to North Point Christian at Comstock Park the next week, right?
Yes.
Funny, I can remember that. I can't remember where my car keys are.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah, wild. So I know you have a faith component in your life, and you have for a long time. Tell us about that. So
well, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and that's the key, is the relationship with Him. My mom was an instrumental piece of that for me, and I have always been a little bit different with my approach. I think I am, and I get self-conscious about that. But I am just like football. I'm hyper focused, and man, there's so many great people in my life that have modeled for me. And our church, some of my churches I've been a part of have been great models and helpful
Yeah.
for me. Or my groups,
Yeah.
have been great. But at times, I sometimes leer away from certain things because I feel like it can be more intense,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to chill out. And what I mean by that is, I want it. I want the utmost accountability.
Yeah.
And I think today's day and age, and what I'm seeking most now in my life with my faith, is like really hard knocks Christianity. And I'm trying. I feel like we need to go there. I guess that's kind of my next passion.
Okay.
In my own, I need to do better. I should always be
Wow.
pursuing that. But it's like I feel like sometimes we soften the blow, and that turn. I don't like that. I don't like that, and it turns me away sometimes. I want it to be legitimately what we're supposed to be doing, and I do think sometimes, whether I'm right or wrong, and I'd love to be held in check.
Yeah.
I do think we're. When I say we're, it includes me at times. Like we're just playing the game, man, and I fall into that too. But I want our leaders, I want our church leaders to really hold me accountable and everybody else like to the what we're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really gravitate towards that, because a lot of my friends will tell me too, I really got a couple things going. When I do those things though, I'm like hyper focused on them. I get jealous of some of my other friends. They got so many things going. It looks fun, but when you're a football coach and you're hyper focused on success and significance in football, and then you might got two other things you do,
Mm-hmm.
you can only be good at like a couple of things. And I got friends that they seem like they're good at everything, like Craig Smith. That guy's amazing.
He does amazing.
He does
an amazing man.
He does all kinds of stuff, and he's good at it. And it's like he always turns to me. He's one that will tell me, "But you're hyper focused on things." And I guess that's where I'm at with my faith.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be that guy, and my journey is far from over there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to, like we just talked about, I'd love to get dunked.
Yeah,
it's time to get submerged.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that for a long time.
Yep.
But my family's awesome, and we all believe deeply.
Yeah,
and that's awesome.
So, West Ottawa, you have a great career at Montague, and you decide it's time to take it up a level.
Yeah.
So you go the OK Red.
Yes.
You don't go the OK Green or Blue or Black. You go the OK Red.
We do.
Welcome to playing with the big boys now.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of reasons for it, but that's a big one. They're back to the hyper focus.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to work. I want to challenge.
Yeah.
I want to be held to a higher standard all the time.
Yeah.
I like that. I enjoy that. And in football, it's the same way as my faith or anything. Like, OK Red does that. So week in and week out, there is no time off.
Yeah, that's 9 weeks of brutal football.
And we are grinding.
Yeah.
As much or more than I've ever done in my career. But it's still not good enough, which I think is awesome. Because that's what I want. That's what I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of something very challenging.
Yeah.
And I might get worn out quicker because it's hard, but I like that. I want to be worn out. I can always choose to do something new.
Mm-hmm.
But at West Ottawa right now, we've done so much great work. Our coaching staff, community people, the administration, the school. I see so many great things transpiring.
Mm-hmm.
It's very fun to be a part of the growth.
Yeah. You want to know why? Your leadership.
I
know you don't. I know you're one that it's a whole.
No.
Yeah. No, you're a great leader. People want to be
that.
part of that.
Yeah. I have fun doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I have fun building it. Because Montague, I was blessed and didn't have. West Ottawa was low, down.
Yeah.
And it was nobody's fault. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So don't blame yourselves, and let's just get to work.
Yeah.
And then we've done that. And the people have responded really well. And I love the kids down there just as much as I love the kids in Montague. Every kid is just a kid, and they're just awesome people. And we're having a lot of fun. We're trying to win. We're
Yeah.
trying to win. We won some games. We're definitely on the rise.
Yeah.
And our kids are scrapping, and we're back to the old. Well, we don't have that, and we don't have near what those guys have with this or that. It doesn't change, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't
Just
care
get to
what
work.
they have.
Yeah.
I want my guys.
Yeah.
I want my guys because my guys have it harder. And if we have it harder, we're better.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we get to the tough moments, I'm putting my money on my guys.
Yeah.
I did that at Montague too.
Awesome. So, if you weren't a football coach, what would you have been?
FBI.
There we go. I
No,
like it.
that was my dream. I was talking to my daughter about it yesterday
Yeah.
on the ride to the Hope.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an FBI agent growing up. I don't know why. Do they have a bad rap now?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. Especially after last Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
The Secret Service and all of them. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
we won't get political, but we'll go, here, that wasn't a good look.
No, that didn't go well. But
no.
So don't judge me for wanting to be one.
Yeah.
If you're thinking they're bad people right now, but I don't know. No, I just wanted to be. I was into like the service, maybe being in one of the branches.
Yeah.
But also like working into like being one of the CIA, FBI, type of stuff field.
Yep.
I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I always knew I wanted to work outside, and I always wanted to be out moving and working with people, and I don't know, education was a great fit for me too. I mean, I wanted to give back. I got a lot out of the people that I grew up under, my teachers, and that, because you're going through life, and then you just kind of look to your mentors, and those became, outside of my parents, they were big deals. So I wanted to do that, give it back.
Is there anything that you wish I would have asked you that I haven't asked you yet?
No, never. I never would think that, Cal. I don't think like that. But
no, I mean, but is there something that you want to hit on before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. I think I would ask you a question.
Oh boy. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
You've been such an impact for people.
Thank you.
And I know what's driving you to do all that you've done, because, and I kind of know the answer.
Okay.
But I want some depth to it, because I've talked to people about this, like Craig. And I said, man, he's amazing. Yeah, Craig, oh yeah, he's amazing. What's up with Cal? Like, what's happening with you? I know you just got baptized.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And then what's going on with you? Because you have been such a connector for people and such a driving force behind so many positive things.
Two things. So three things real quick. So I normally have it, and I took it off. I normally have a band on my left hand that says legacy with a cross on each end.
Yep.
And I will always say, what's your legacy going to be? So I've been very fortunate to be successful.
Yeah.
In the farming world, my brothers and I were Great Lakes Farmers of the Year. Went in the Hall of Fame. Both of those in 2019. So 2019 was a good year.
Yeah.
So I've had all this, personal farming success. And I've always said to people, saying, I had somebody ask me this week, what does that mean, legacy? And I always say, if my legacy is farming, I failed. If my legacy is broadcasting, I failed. If you don't think of me first as being a Christian, then I failed. If you think of me as being a Christian first, that's success.
That's awesome.
But if it's the other things, then I failed. So that's part of it. I also live my life in quarters. So you're in the third quarter. I'm in the fourth quarter. Okay, Billy's still in the second quarter because he's in his 30. So
he's not even at halftime.
Yeah, you're 40 now, so you're in your third quarter. So 0 to 20 is your first quarter. 20 to 40 your second. 40 to 60 your third quarter. I'm 65, so
you're in your fourth quarter.
I'm in my fourth quarter. So what am I going to do? And I realized
legacy.
Legacy
I like
is my fourth quarter. And I also realized I've been way more blessed than what I deserve. And I've had some pretty significant health issues the last few years, in remission from cancer. So
good for you.
Yeah, I've got to start really ramping up
Yeah.
what I do here while my time is. My days behind me, way more days behind me than in front of me.
You started in the third quarter with me.
Yeah. Yes.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
So thank you.
Yeah. You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. A little
That's
bit of
awesome.
me. Yeah. And I made it through. I'm an emotional speaker. Like when that turns to this, most guys, when you first asked that question, I thought I'm never going to get through this. But yeah.
I can see your emotion, which is awesome.
Yep. So
emotion is real, man. It's great.
Yeah, but so that concludes episode 6. And Pat Collins, thank you. And the hour goes fast, doesn't it?
It goes really fast because I can't get my mouth to shut up.
Oh, no, that's the fun part.
I know. I'm supposed to talk, right?
Yeah,
but,
you're supposed to.
No, I appreciate you,
Yeah.
and I'll say it again. Like, you've been a big deal for so many people, but communities, like actual communities, the whole communities.
Thank you.
And the things you're doing here now, and I know you're rooted up over in Grant, Nuevo area too. So thank you so much.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for your time. Thanks for Billy Mann and KLLB Media. Bill's Golden Cards and Collectible Stuff, and he's got all sorts of cards. And if you're in a Pokemon, he's got them. And we were just looking at Billy Sims cards.
Yes, we
out
were
there before we came in
we
here.
were.
So Bill's
I was asking about my shoebox at home. And I got a full shoebox. What should I do with it? And he said to bring it in, so I'm going to do that. Check them out. See what I got in there.
You might find the Honus Wagner T206 or whatever it is.
I don't think I have anything worth much. So.
Gotcha. So, Coach, thanks for your time. Thanks again to Billy and Bill out front. And thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. And have a great day.